Hey everybody, Alex here. I get a lot of messages from people who run small catering gigs or community kitchens and are trying to decide if they need a dedicated hot cold holding cabinet or if a simple countertop fridge will do. They're nervous about spending a few $100 on something that might sit half-filled and end up being more of a space hog than a help. I've been looking at a few options, and today I'm talking about the Cambro Camtherm Fahrenheit Thermometer hot/cold electric food holding cabinet. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about why you might even consider a unit like this. In a home-based bakery, a food service truck, or even a busy school lunchroom, you're constantly juggling temperature-sensitive items. Think pre-cooked casseroles that need to stay warm and fresh salads that must stay chilled. The biggest mistake I see new buyers make is assuming any cabinet will keep both sides at the right temperature without realizing the real-world load you'll put on it. The Cambro Camtherm is built around a split-zone design, which means the hot section and the cold section have separate thermostats. That's a practical feature because it prevents the heat from the warm side from creeping into the cold side, a problem you'll hit pretty quickly if you overload a single-zone unit. Who should buy this? If you run a pop-up restaurant, a catering business that does batch cooking, or even a large-scale family gathering where you need to keep trays of hot pasta and a bowl of fruit salad ready for service, the Camtherm's 30 half-inch wide, 39-inch deep, and 64-inch tall footprint gives you a lot of vertical real estate. The stacked shelves can hold full-size sheet pans on the hot side and standard grocery store tubs on the cold side. I've seen a friend who uses it in a community center and he can slot 3 sheet pans on the warm side while still having space for iced drinks on the other half. That's the kind of flexibility you get when you need to juggle multiple dishes at once. On the other hand, if you're just looking for a place to store a few containers of leftovers or want a convenient spot to keep a single batch of soup warm, this cabinet is overkill. It's a sizable piece of equipment, weighing in over 200 pounds, so you'll need a sturdy floor and enough clearance to open the doors fully. Small kitchens or cramped food trucks will struggle with the physical footprint. In those cases, a smaller countertop warmer or a single-zone insulated carrier might serve you better and save you money. Now let's get into the practical strengths. The first thing that impressed me when I walked around a local culinary school that uses this model was how quick the hot side reaches its set temperature. With a target of 165 F, the heating element brings a full tray of lasagna up to the right serving temperature in about 20 minutes, even when you start with a cold tray. That's valuable when you're on a tight service window and can't afford to wait for a half-hour warm-up. The cold side, meanwhile, holds a steady 40 F, which is cool enough to keep salads crisp without freezing them. Because the unit uses a separate thermostat, you can set the heated side a few degrees higher if your menu calls for holding at 175 F, and the cold side will stay locked at its own setting. Another real-world benefit is the built-in Fahrenheit thermometer display. It's right on the front so you don't have to pull out a separate probe just to check if you're still within safe temperature ranges. In a busy service, that quick glance can save a few seconds per pass, adding up to a noticeable efficiency gain over the course of a shift. The cabinet also comes with Granite Sand insulation, which is not just a marketing term. In my visits to kitchens that use Cambro units, the insulation keeps the temperature swing minimal when doors are opened frequently, which is exactly how these cabinets get used. You'll notice the hot side stays hot and the cold side stays cold, even if you pop the door open every few minutes to grab a tray. That kind of stability helps you stay compliant with food safety guidelines without having to constantly adjust the thermostat. But there are a few trade-offs to keep in mind. Because the unit is designed for commercial use, the controls are pretty basic, just a dial for each zone and a small LED that shows the current temperature. There's no digital interface, no Wi-Fi connectivity, and no programmable timers. If you're a tech-savvy operator who likes to integrate equipment into a smart kitchen ecosystem, you'll feel the lack of connectivity. That said, the simplicity can also be a strength. Fewer moving parts mean fewer things that can break, which is why Cambro has that solid 4.7-star rating from hundreds of users. Another practical weakness is the door design. The doors open outward, which is great for full access, but they require clearance on the side of the cabinet. In a